Hello and welcome everybody to today's video. Welcome to the Vee Academy. My name is Crumbrion, Professor Crumbrion, if you would. And today, we're going to be taking a look at a wonderful game that we played on Pokemon Trading Card Game Live. And be happy to get your reactions to it. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content. If you want to follow me and watch games in real time, check me out on twitch.tv/Crumbrion. For now, let's go check out the game. Thanks for watching.
3, 2, 1, go!
Ay.
Why you bully me?
Exactly, Zero. Why you bully me? Why am I being bullied by the game? Going first and Fortnite. Off game. Oh my god. Pretty sure this is Pult. Strong inkling that it's Pult. We have a pretty terrible hand too, but no, it's Gardevoir. I mean, still pretty good. I'm gonna put down Artisan though. It is nice that we started Jamming Tower, but they're just going to put down Artisan, which sucks, but it's fine. Burrow actually would have been nice. Right there. Nice. We sold them. We sold their thing for a minute here. Good. Right. The Dreepers down. Really? Yeah. So we could judge here, which would be interesting, but I could also just reset. Fortunately, have to burn that, but kind of important to do so. Yeah, I think because everything else is fine, I think we want to keep the judge for a little bit. Down to 6. And we are getting like literally nothing going on here. Sucks. But we slow them down, they don't get their energy. They have 2 energies down, but they can't rare candy now. They already have 2. But if we can top deck Ult here or Dusknoir, that'd be very nice. Fortunate, but expected. Also annoying if they Oceanic Gloom. But if they do, they're not drawing more cards, which they're gonna go T. That's really premature, but they have to. Really shitty. We are more or less going to have to scoop this, unfortunately. But they're not, they don't have a whole lot of room for monkeys at the current moment. Yeah, so we're not item locked, which is good. We have a chance, which is not much. We have spent 2 turns doing nothing, which is very not good. But they've had to burn a dark energy here. They didn't put a Gardevoir down, which is very interesting. Means they probably have one in... No, if they had one in hand, they would have put it down, I think. Oh. Really brutal for us. Is it worth it to put Boss here? I mean, they'd have to attach to retreat, but then they're just going to have Gardevoir anyway. No, disrupt them again? I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is here. We need rare candy Dusknoir, though. You get Pulp, but that doesn't help. Yeah, we're basically fucked here. Unfortunately. We are basically screwed. Have to hope that they had the Gardevoirs in hand and that we're just cooking them here otherwise. I mean, they don't have a way to attack bench, so Rakloak should be fine. Who knows? Well, that was really good. I mean, they get the energies in the discard pile. They're definitely going to have Gardevoir. 100%. Not really going to matter. They're going to go after Budew anyways, so... We just need to take this. Is unfortunately a Dusknoir away.
You just made the list!
Oh my god, Carice. Hello. It would be better to take these two out if we have a choice. Be better. Take those. Okay, that's very good news. What in the fuck, dude? Can we not? I want boss in the deck. I don't. So that's good news. It means they're stuck. So we want to boss out earlier here. They're gonna stick us with item lock, so we want that in hand. And this is brutal. That's fine. Gardevoir's definitely coming out now. There's no chance they... Alright, well, we get not really much to work with yet again. We do get, we can get an energy. We actually do take out the Clefairy, or if they don't evolve these two, we take out the Curlius. Have another boss, so that's good. This is really good for us, actually. We get the energy we need. We take out both Curlias here. Now they're going to be really struggling to get anything at all set up. They can Munkidori us, which would be slightly annoying, but this is the better of all the scenarios that we could possibly be facing right now. We're leaving them with no damage on board. No prospect of a Gardevoir. pretty solid. They've burnt a lot of their resources now already. They burnt 2 research and 2 Ionos. A fairly decent position now, but it's never out of the park, so we're never out of the realm of them coming back really hard here, so. All right, well, I mean, they're forwarding Jellicent, which is fine. They're gonna go for Power Press on Jellicent, which they can't do this turn. It'd be next turn type of thing, but not really anything that I'm too worried about, though. And I really wish I could have Judge this turn. Super nice. I see TM Evo come out here, I would assume. I'm gonna go Super Rod TM Evo. No other reason that they'd play energy on Jellicent this turn. Bravery Charm, okay. I mean, we're not out of the woods yet. We still have a Neo Upper to play with here. Yeah, there's the TM Evo. That's what I anticipated. I don't know if they have any Curlias left. They have to Super Rod here. I mean, they could play 3 Curlias, but most lists only play 2, so they're checking to see right now. Yeah, they're gonna grab a Curlia. Well, they're grabbing a Ralt. No shot they play 4 Curlia. That's ridiculous. Hello, Carusu. The new Curlia is getting a damage buff. Huh? Is it? Question mark. We have another jamming tower in deck too, so this doesn't matter to us. They also have rare candies in the deck, but I know that they've thrown 1 away. Oof, no Curlias. That is something that we saw happen. Burrows is really nice, because that actually does give us another Dracloak draw here if we decide to go. Could research here too. Necessarily want to. Okay. We need to get this out of the active. And I don't want to research this turn, so we will just be Turoing this. I need to get this out of the active. Don't have an extremely good way to do that right now. Jamming Tower does help. Sure does. We're really, like, we're in a very bad spot currently. All right, Iono's not exactly helpful. If the Jellicent is attacking next turn, okay, fine, we're still item locked. If it's not attacking next turn and we get attacked by something else, it's better. But I think we lose a Dragapult here, fortunately. But we're in a pretty good spot. We're gonna get Ionode, I think. I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing to happen. The research again. They're in a very bad spot. Oh my god. 4 cards left. Yikes. They're gonna Fez for 3. Yikes. Yikes, yikes. And they could take out our Budew and they could take out our Dragapult, but that puts us in not exactly great range, but an okay position. We could theoretically Dragon Headbutt next with Dracloak and then just kill it. That could work. Wonder if their Guardies are prized. So that opens up an interest. Jellicent does not have the benefit of losing the 70 HP knockout now. They have to rare candy Guardy here. Boom, we did it. We defeated the evil. We defeated the evil. Well, at least in this matchup. Evil for us. We like Gardevoir, but they really just got smoked. Guardy's not evil. If I'm playing Dragapult, it's evil. I have a good Gardevoir deck too. I love playing Gardevoir. I'm gonna take a look over this one because so honestly, folks, I'm playing a shit ton of hand disruption in this list. I have 4 Ionos, I have 2 judges, okay? I was running 4 research. I switched it to be 2 research, 2 judge. I put in rare candies in this list because one of Dragapult's biggest weaknesses right now is not getting a Dragapult out fast enough. And so in this matchup, I don't think it really came up, but I think we hand disrupted them to absolute fucking Narnia here. And I want to take a look over how we managed to get this victory over what is possibly one of the absolute worst 90-10 matchups for Gardevoir into Dragapult. So the fact that we got item locked and we survived this, this is kind of massive. So let's take a look here. So they won the coin flip and they went second. So this was, again, such a good setup for our opponent right now. It's brutal. It was so brutal for us. They had Cleffa in the active slot, which is kind of weird, but it's fine. You know, Cleffa in Gardevoir, sure. We ended up getting Duskull to the active, Dreepy to the bench. So I don't know what we're going up against. Always throw up Duskull because Duskull's a good opener. You can do a whole bunch with it. We're going first anyway, so we can't attack. So Duskull being there means if we evolve it the next turn, we just get the free retreat anyways because we can blow it up and then whatever else. But we draw Budew, get Budew to the bench. We don't get anything beneficial with having Budew on the bench because we can't attack anyways. But we did start the game with Jamming Tower, which is very important. So we had a relatively good opening hand. So we had Dreepy, we had Duskull, right? We had Dracloak in hand, we had Dragapult in hand, but we didn't have energy. We didn't have anything to really do anything with. We did have the Turo, which was it would be pretty useful because we could save an energy attach by just Turoing the Duskull, and then put up the Budew, and then we can, at least not waste an energy to retreat the Duskull, and we would have an energy attach that would accelerate our turn for having a Dragapult. So this is at least a productive hand that you can do something with. And having the turn 1 Jamming Tower as our opening turn stadium, while it is risky because it means that our opponent can just bump that with Artisan immediately and then immediately have access. Because if they had Arven, then they have energy and they have TM Evo. So this stops the TM Evo play on the opening turn if your opponent whiffs a stadium bump. So that's what we're kind of praying for. We just put Budew to the bench, Jamming Tower, and pray to Arceus that something happens here. So their turn here, they kind of go crazy on this turn, I'm not gonna lie. It's this is insane. They get the double energy off of the Ultra Ball, for a second Ralts, the Iono, they're 3 cards. We lose our relatively serviceable hand because we're gonna lose that on our guaranteed Dracloak here. We lose that on our Turo play to save the energy, and we lose that on the Dragapult onto the bottom of the deck, unfortunately. They get a full hand of 6 cards. We don't really get a whole bunch. We do get an energy, which is cool, but we didn't get a Dracloak, which is brutal for us. We get Judge, we get another Jamming Tower, we get Iono, and the only nice part about this is Buddy Poff, and we at least get a board state set up on the following turn now, and we have energy if we can top deck a Duskull or something useful. Pretty cool. But basically they get their board state completely set up here. They get Ralts to the bench, and then they have to Grasping draw, which is huge, huge, huge for us, because this means they have two very vulnerable little Ralts on the bench now that can't really do much. So they go Ralts, Grasping draw for 2 cards. All right, so we have a decision to make, because now we have all of our draw support in our hand. We have a Research, we have a Judge, we have an Iono. So we go ahead and Buddy Poffin. I want to make sure that I get a lot of Duskulls out. Like we play 2-2-1 of the Duskull line in this list. So we want to make sure that we get both Duskulls down, because we're going to be wanting to put damage on the bench as often as possible to take out multiple Kirlia before they get up to Gardevoir, have multiple different options to be attacking into things like taking out Munkidoris. It's always a big thing that you want to do as a Dragapult deck into a Gardevoir. You don't want to leave Munkidoris on the board. If you have to leave damage, you want to make sure that they have just a constant, having to constantly set up new Munkidoris. Very, very important. So we go ahead and just get a second Duskull down, or a second, Duskull down. We get the Dreepy down. So we have 2 Dreepies. We don't have any Dracloaks right now, so it's kind of just cooking us. We just have to wait, basically. There's no point in putting down a third Dreepy because we have no Dracloaks. So we put down 2 Skulls. We have to, unfortunately, waste the Luminous Energy because we're going to play Iono. There's no guarantee that we have the Retreat, so put it on Duskull, Retreat into Budew, and then Iono. So we could have gone Judge. I wanted to see more cards. I didn't, and I wanted to hand disrupt them because they had 7 cards. We could have Judged to put them down to 4. Would have shuffled their deck. Don't know what they had in their 3-card hand the previous turn, but Iono gives them 6 fresh cards. Unfortunately for us, we have to give it to them. But we needed to see cards, basically. We needed to get a bunch more stuff than what we had. And we didn't get a whole bunch off of the first Iono that we got there. And the opening of the deck was also pretty brutal. So chances are we were going to get something good off of this Iono. We just didn't, unfortunately for us, yet again. So we put the counter catcher, and we also don't want to throw away all these resources with Research, right? Jamming Tower is important, hand disruption is important, counter catcher is important. So we want to maintain all those. So we really had a choice between Iono, which gives us 6 and gives our opponent 6, or use Judge, which gives us 4, gives our opponent 4. Judge shuffles the deck, shuffles the hand into the deck, whereas Iono shuffles the hand and puts it at the bottom of the deck, and you draw off the top unshuffled deck. So argument that it probably could have been better to use the Judge, because we might have actually gotten something good off of that, considering one of our Dracloaks was put to the bottom. But I wanted to see more cards to see what we could get here. Unfortunately, didn't get a whole lot. We did get a second Iono, which is cool. We got the rare candy, which would have been useful if we top decked something like Dusknoir. We top decked Dragapult. This would be very useful. So, like, again, having rare candy in Dragapult is kind of an important thing, because number one, this list doesn't search out rare candy. This is something you're going to chance across, and it's literally just because if you do chance across it at the right time, because you have a lot of draw options, then you're going to be having a massive benefit to your game. Otherwise, it's just a card that you can discard if you don't necessarily need to do anything with it. So following turn, we have Boss's Orders. We play 3 boss in this game, in this list as well. Maractus is always an interesting option as well, with the corner being able to retreat lock them, force them to have to play a little bit smart as well. So we had a few different options. We couldn't really do anything on this turn because, again, we failed the energy attach. So 2 turns where we have 0 energy attach, really, really backbreakingly brutal, into something like Gardevoir. Like, this is pretty much game. This is pretty much game on board for us. Like, we just lose. This is death knell for this deck, because missing energy attaches per turn sucks. Having to waste energy to attach retreat something sucks. And having back-to-back turns where we don't even have a Dracloak out is really, really bad. Really, really, really bad into a deck like this. So we just have to hope that our item lock sticks again, so we Itchy Pollen for another 10 damage. Obviously, now we have 20 damage on there. Still not within Munkidori range, which is good, because we don't want them to just get a free prize off of knocking out Budew, if we can help it. And so next turn, they go ahead and evolve to Kirlia. They can't rare candy, which is good for us. So they play Artisan, which bumps our stadium, unfortunately. And then they at least open up Artisan for us to start maneuvering stuff as well. So they go ahead and get Frillish down, which is a little bit spooky, because now it tells us that they have the that they have the jellyfish, the Jellicent in the deck, and they can't use items, so they can't search out energies, they can't play nest balls, they can't play ultra balls, they can't do any searching. They have to basically, they're at the mercy of their top deck as well right now. So we're both kind of dead drawing. Perfectly fine. They have a better dead draw situation because now all of a sudden their Frillish can do 20 damage to us and lock a set of items if they can get the Frillish into the active slot, which right now they don't exactly have a good option to because Kirlia does not have any energy on it and it has a single retreat cost. So we're looking like we're going to be surviving this turn, no problem. They go ahead and attach the TM evolution to Cleffa, and then they put down Lily's Clefairy. I think this was a far bit too early, showing off the Clefairy. I don't think there was necessary for it. I don't think it was necessary to put that down. It might have come down to the fact that they just don't run a bunch of Night Stretchers in this deck, and they only have very limited. I know some of the Gardevoir lists have moved to running Super Rods over Night Stretchers in like bulk wise, and then some have moved to cutting Night Stretcher entirely. I think this one played one, but some of them have like are down to 1 Night Stretcher or 2 Night Stretchers. I still personally run 4 in my Gardevoir list, but maybe they were a little bit frugal in putting Lily's Clefairy down, thinking that, you know what, we can attack with the other psychic Pokemon. Not a great chance. Like, there's only Dreepies on the board. They're not exactly going to be able to easily knock out Clefairy here. They thought they had enough time to do this. So they research. There goes one of their Super Rods, and they lose Arven. Arven's kind of a dead card for them right now anyways. They just go ahead and draw 7. So they needed to get energy. So this is good for us too, because it's a dark energy going on Cleffa. Dark energy on Cleffa means it's not going on the Munkidori that they just played to the bench. So we're not getting Munkidori this turn, and Cleffa is going to be using TM Evolution. So this is a very strange turn for them. I don't know. I mean, we are threatening having a Dusknoir, so I guess I can understand just wanting to get 2 Kirlias down instead of getting a Gardevoir and a Gardevoir and a Jellicent down, and just having 1 Ralts, because if the odd chance that we ended up getting the nuts, right, we get we didn't even show we had rare candy, but like it would have been safer for my opponent unless they prized both of their Gardevoirs, which it seems like that was the case. I think they prized both Guardies in this match, which is the only reason that we ended up winning. They get the Kirlias out, they go into Jellicent, and they pray that Oceanic Curse can carry them until they can get their Gardevoirs at other prizes. That's my guess, because like I think at this point they realize that they're kind of cooked because both of their Gardevoirs are prized, and they're going to have a hard time getting those. So our turn comes. I mean, it could have just been that they just didn't want to put Gardevoir into play at that point in time too, because if we ended up somehow getting Gardevoir like knocked out or whatever, it would be a very bad situation for them. I'm not entirely sure, but again, it's one of those things. Like, if I had a chance to ask him, I would ask him if he had his Guardies prize. But so we go ahead and play Buddy Poff, and we Iono again here. So they have 5 cards in hand. I don't know if this cooked them. I honestly don't know, because they had 7, they played 2, they still had a very solid board. You know, everything else, but this hand's not doing anything for me. So we could boss. Don't necessarily need to in this turn, because there's not really, I mean, if they have Gardevoir, they're retreating anyways. So hand disrupt them. If they had Gardevoir in hand, it's to the bottom of the deck now. So we get Judge, we get Boss, we get Ultra Ball, we get Judge, we get Night Stretcher, we get Dragapult. And so now, because we have Night Stretcher, that opens us up to use Dragapult as fodder here. So we have 2 Judges. Obviously, we can't use both Judges in one turn, so that at least we can use Ultra Ball to get rid of a Judge, get rid of a Dragapult, which will get us a Dracloak finally, our first Dracloak of the game. Not anticipating that we'd be item locked. I mean, we have Boss's orders, so we can boss around the Jellicent, so we know there's a Dragapult in the discard pile whenever we want one. So it's fine. We're not pressed to use the Night Stretcher immediately. Recon Directive is going to get us an energy finally, and then it's kind of risky to put everything because we only have 1 Dracloak, so it's putting the energy on the single Dracloak is kind of a Monka situation, because if we do end up getting a second energy and we get a Dragapult back, we can at least attack. But the same sense, if they get a Gardevoir, they find a way to get, I mean, they had a bench lock, so they didn't have Screamtail, but if they had a way to get Dracloak into the active and attack it, then we lose all of our progress towards what we were trying to get. So Itchy Pollen it is again for 10 damage on Cleffa, big 10 damage going over. So right now, the Itchy Pollen has been absolutely kneecapping my opponent. They draw a card here. They research immediately. So we Ionoed them into absolutely nothing. We Ionoed them into Rare Candy, Earthen Vessel, Counter Catcher, and they're getting 2 more energy in the discard pile and Night Stretcher. So they had at least one. I think they had at least 2 Night Stretchers in the deck, but one goes away. Counter Catcher goes away. We're giving them more ammunition in the discard pile, unfortunately, but they could have had even more with Earthen Vessel if they were allowed to play items. They could have had a couple more Psychic Energy in the discard pile. Would have been pretty bad for us, but they could have had a Gardevoir right away. It is a very good chance that they had Gardevoir in hand and that they were going to evolve at the next turn, and we Ioned it to the bottom of the deck, and they had no way to search it. So they researched this hand. Obviously don't get anything that they needed here. They attach Dark Energy to the Munkidori, retreat Cleffa to the bench, and then they Jellicent up front. So now Jellicent is blocking our tool cards and our item cards, and it has no energy on it currently. So we're not really worried about this doing any significant damage. They have a chance to move 20 damage off of Cleffa this turn. They choose not to. So we're just kind of chilling at the moment, just doing what we need to do here. So we draw a Night Stretcher again. It's like, this is the freaking worst luck. We draw a Night Stretcher, we Recon Directive into Boss's Orders and Night Stretcher. Everything that we have in our hand is what we're drawing right now, and we don't need any of it. So this is very, very bad. So basically, we have to boss up Kirlia because we need to make sure that we can put damage on Kirlia, or at least force them to attach an energy to Kirlia to retreat it, force them to have another delayed turn with Jellicent, make sure that, or like find a way to get this is not something they want to Turo, right? They don't want to Turo Kirlia, because if they Turo Kirlia, they have to put down Ralts again, and that gives us a chance to knock out Kirlia Ralts, and then the cycle starts over again. So this is not a great Turo target, which is why you want to target the Kirlia to lock up here. Single retreat cost, but it's not really a big deal. This allows us to use our items again. So Jellicent on the bench, Oceanic Curse is not working anymore. Kirlia in the active slot, we Night Stretcher, we get Dragapult. No energy to speak of anywhere that we're drawing stuff, and we have nothing to really forward our board state. Did we have... Yeah, we had Judge. So we could have played Judge this turn as well. We had Judge in hand. We could have played Judge this turn. It was more important because we have not taken a prize, or they have not taken a prize yet. They chose not to take a prize. So we couldn't play Counter Catcher anyways, but Jellicent blocking our Counter Catcher means we have to boss around. So boss first here, because we don't necessarily just want to give them damage on their Jellicent. We want to start delaying their board state. As much as our board state's being delayed by the game, we're trying to force our opponent to have to match our level of brick that we're having currently. So we make sure that we get Dragapult back from the discard pile in case they bring up Jellicent again. So we want to make sure that we have Dragapult at least back in hand, so that we can move forward with that. We don't want to evolve it yet because there's no point in having a Dragapult on the bench when we have when we don't have another Dracloak, and when we are not ready to attack with Phantom Dive. So we don't want to put damage down for it to monkey back over to us. We just want to make sure that we have Dragapult back in hand, make use of our Night Stretcher when we can use it, because we're going to get item locked, potentially get item locked again. So we just Itchy Pollen one more turn. Hopefully it sticks. The 10 damage going on to Kirlia. Pretty insignificant damage all told, you know, whatever, not a big deal. So this turn they draw a card, they Iono. So again, we have seen them research into nothing. They Iono. They do us a little bit of a favor here. So we put 2 Night Stretchers back in the deck. Our Judge gets recycled back into the deck, and we get our Dragapult back in the deck as well. That hurts a little bit losing the guaranteed pult, but in the same, because we could have maximized value by using Recon Directive, grabbing a card, evolving to Dragapult, and then using Judge to get all of that for full value right back. But we don't get that option on that turn, but we do end up getting a nice little Dracloak, and we end up getting an Ultra Ball. So pretty solid for us here on the swing back to our turn, because we can go ahead, we can grab Dragapult if we can get energy. So primarily, if this hand, just as it was how we finished off the turn, right? We have Boss in case they bring Jellicent back up. We have Rare Candy. We have Ultra Ball. So Ultra Ball can get us Dusknoir if we whiff energy, right? This is important because we can boss up. We can boss something else. We can boss something up that we want to, or we can whatever else. But we also just have a Dusclops in hand. So Dusclops can evolve from Duskull, which would then allow us to take knockouts on both of the Kirlias. Ultra Ball would get us our Dragapult if we can get energy. This is the important caveat on our following turn. So this is kind of what we're hoping for. The Iono really set us up to counter whatever our opponent's going to be trying to do on this turn, because a double Rare Candy is pretty solid. We have the options to do a whole bunch of stuff here, right? Which is very, very good for us. So we ended up getting like Neo Upper, then we could Rare Candy into a Dragapult, save our Dracloaks evolutions. We have one energy attached to a Dracloak already, so we just need one energy to attack. Pretty much have a bunch of different options. So they go ahead and Munkidori finally the 20 damage onto the Budew. As we've done very efficiently spread the damage out so we don't have 30 concentrated on one Pokemon. So 20 damage over to Budew. They attach Kirlia and retreat to the bench, and then they get, as we anticipated, Jellicent back to the active slot. So this is huge because we have prevented Jellicent from using Power Press literally at all, because we've made them waste so many energies up to this point, which is exactly what we want. We don't want Jellicent to be in a position to attack or even be close to in a position to attack. We want it basically to be losing as much of their resources as possible, getting to the spot they need to get to be able to have a board state. So we draw Countercatcher, which does not help us in this situation. Again, same situation as last time. We have to boss out the Jellicent. We have to get rid of this out of the active slot to be able to play the game. So Recon Directive does get us the energy. This is really huge. People ask, why do I use the Luminous energies in the Pult list? I think it's very smart. I don't think it's smart to lean too heavily on the Luminous energies. I think it's very smart to split up between them. So we run 2 Fire, 2 Psychic, 2 Luminous. Because if we can in a pinch, we can use the Luminous on the Munkidori. In situations like this where we have damage that needs to float around, whatever else, it could be very useful. Most of the time you don't have a way of damaging yourself as Dragapult, so having a Munkidori is not very useful unless they have a Munkidori, and then you can counter it. But the main reason I run 2 Luminous over, say, 3 or 4 is because, number one, if you have 2 Luminous on one Pokemon, it negates itself and they both become colorless energies. But if I have a Luminous on a Dracloak, I can then draw a Psychic or a Fire, either one, and then all of a sudden I have enough for Phantom Dive. I can it's perfect because it gives me 5 different options to get energies, because I can get 2 Fire, I can get 2 Psychic, I can get the Neo Upper, and that gives me, and that paired up with the Luminous, because Luminous doesn't matter if you have Neo Upper. Neo Upper covers the cost. So you have 5 different cards that can get you a Phantom Dive attack. Whereas if you go heavier on the Luminous, you have much fewer cards that you can hit that would get you a Phantom Dive. So that's the reason why I have that split in this deck right now. And it's been working out very, very well. So we go ahead and boss up the Kirlia because now we have the attack. We know we do. Dusclops evolves here. We Recon Directive. We get Munkidori. Not really super useful because both of our Luminous have been committed to board. So it just becomes Ultra Ball fodder here. We go out and grab our Dragapult. Dragapult is going to evolve here energy onto there. And now if that was a Neo Upper, we could have Rare Candy Dragapulted, kept 2 Dracloaks, and we could have had a very nice board state where we had constant draw. We had one Dracloak with an energy, Dragapult with Neo Upper. We're just chiming, but we didn't get the nuts. I'll take a serviceable board, no problem. So we Cursed Blast. We put 50 on the benched Kirlia. The active Kirlia has 10 damage. So we would not be knocking out Cleffa if we split the damage between this and Cleffa. So we want to leave 0 damage on board because we don't want to leave any way of the Munkidori doing shenanigans to move damage around. We want to take out the Kirlias, leave no chances for a Gardevoir the following turn. So boom it, go ahead. There we go. Retreat Budew to the bench. We Artisan, we get another Dreepy down. We go Phantom Dive, 60 damage, which is overkill on the benched Kirlia, but the damage counters go with it, so we don't have anything for the monkey to do in the following turn. Knockout on both Kirlias. We get a third Dracloak, which is massive. This is our second Dracloak, actually. So we get the second Dracloak from prizes, which turns out to be a third Dracloak the following turn. So we get Dracloak and Research. So Research is very nice to have at this stage in the game because Iono, obviously, we're going to be sitting down at 3 prizes. So I think it was it 3 or was it 2? Either way, I think we were down to 4 prizes at this point, which means now we're sitting, if we Iono, it gives us 4. If we Judge, it gives us 4. So Iono and Judge have the same value. Research obviously has better value later in the game to give you more access to more cards. So we're going to be after dealing with Jellicent once more here. Jellicent back into the active slot, but 0 energy on Jellicent, a massive retreat cost. No Gardevoirs on the horizon means that we're not just going to instantly get Clefairy knocked out. So this is very good for us as well. They go ahead, draw. They can finally start playing item cards here. So they get a Ralts to the bench, they Earthen Vessel, get rid of Buddy Poffin, they go Psychic and Dark Energies. Psychic goes to the Jellicent. Arvin is going to get Secret Box. Not really a whole lot for them to do with this other than just TM Evo. They get the TM Evo off of that Secret Box. Secret Box is going to discard Arvin, Boss and Gardevoir, by the way. Dark Energy is gone. So another Dark Energy is gone. They go second Night Stretcher here. They grab Bravery Charm and Research. So they're looking at just kind of just going through their deck to try and find their lost Gardevoir that we put to the bottom of their deck. So all of these cards shuffled their deck, so they have a pretty good chance of drawing into Gardevoir at this point. They've already played Arvin, so they can't research this turn. So they basically are. I don't even know why they just didn't grab Ultra Ball here. I mean, I guess they burnt their Ultra Balls, or they might not have had access to their Ultra Balls. But you know, Secret Box, sure, it does a lot for them. But we still have Judges, we still have Ionos. If they grabbed all this stuff that they wanted, we could still hand disrupt them afterwards, which is very, very nice. So they go ahead and attach to Jellicent. They check their deck with Artisan. They get the bad news. Their Kirlias are gone. They Night Stretcher for a second Ralts, and then they use Team Evolution to no avail because their Gardevoirs are gone. Or not the Gardevoirs, so their Kirlias are gone. Their Kirlias are in the discard pile. They threw away their Super Rod earlier in the game because they couldn't use it off of a Professor's Research, so they could not get the Kirlias back in the deck. They wasted their one of. I'm guessing this deck runs a. We saw pretty much all the cards. I'm guessing this list runs 1 Super Rod, 2 Night Stretchers, and they threw away the Super Rod earlier off of a Research because they couldn't use items. So that was backbreaking for them. They did not get the Kirlias back out. They have 2 Ralts on the bench that can't evolve now. They have, I'm assuming, 1 more rare candy in the deck. They only played 1. They only showed 1. So they possibly had another rare candy. I don't think they discarded another one. From what I could see, I don't think they did. It was just the single. So they possibly had another rare candy that they had in the deck or in hand, because they basically had their entire hand there. They basically had their entire deck in their hand at that point. And so this was a really sad turn for them. Really sad turn. So they attach Bravery Charm to the Cleffa, because Cleffa is an easy KO on the bench. And if we attack that with Dragapult, it's going to have 80 HP. So very solid, you know, it stops us from taking an easy prize. And It's just more monkey damage that they can play around with. So they go ahead and they keep the item lock here going, and then they Oceanic Curse. And we know how much energy they have now, right? I don't think they have much left. I think they've discarded pretty much all of it. They have one dark on the Cleffa. They have a dark in the discard pile. They have a dark on their Munkidori. They have one psychic on their Jellicent. What else? So it's one psychic. We know where three of the four darks are. I'm assuming they do 7/4. So let's take a gander here if we can see. So one energy is discarded there. That's two psychic that we know of. Yeah, so that's a dark energy. So that's 3/4 psychic that we are aware of. That they discarded with research there. So that's 3/4. What else here? And they had 5/6 off of the opening. So they potentially had one more dark, one more psychic. So they had an attack. They basically had an attack with Jellicent, but they didn't have Gardevoir. So they'd only be hitting for 160 plus 30 damage from Munkidori if they pushed over from Jellicent. It's not enough to kill Dragapult. Not very close. They need to have 2 attacks from Jellicent with just a basic power press enhanced by the Clefairy to be able to take knockout. They didn't have it. They definitely didn't have retreat. They have to attack with Jellicent. This turn, so we draw Professor Turo. We recon directive, get energy. We recon directive, get Ultra Ball. So Turo is going to allow us to pick up the already spent Dracloak recon directive, put it in hand. We evolve the Dreepy on bench to Dracloak to have a third Dracloak this turn, because we didn't get the third one or fourth one out of the deck. We get Jamming Tower off of the Dracloak, which actually ends up being more or less a game-winning situation now, because we're putting them in such a bad position. Any other Pokemon that we attack, we're leaving damage counters on board. I mean, we're leaving damage counters on board anyways because we're attacking Jellicent, but any other Pokemon, it's an issue, right? Jamming Tower down removes the Bravery Charm. It's putting a lot of pressure onto our opponent now. We put down the Jamming Tower, we Phantom Dive, we take out Cleffa. This gets us Iono. So, like, I mean, I say it's game winning. Our opponent doesn't know that we got Iono, but that saves us for the following turn, because now we have at least something to draw and disrupt our opponent if they do something to us. It could potentially be massively impactful in that game. So they go ahead and attach Bravery Charm to Clefairy. We still have the Jamming Tower in play. So they haven't bumped it. They can't bump it. They research. They just had a Nest Ball. They get Fezandipiti onto the bench. At this point they had 10 cards left. They researched. They had 11 cards left. They researched. They had 4 cards left, and then they flipped the script. They had 1 card left in deck. So they Munkidori damage over to knock out Budew. They had only drawn 2 prizes this game. It was the knockout on Budew, and it was the Dusclops. And I'm guessing neither of those 2 was the Gardevoir that they needed. They needed Gardevoir to dig themselves out of this. We were down to how many prizes? We had taken out quite a bit here. We had taken out 2, 3. So we were down to 3 prizes. We still had a Duskull on bench. So we had a KO lined up on Jellicent. And if we got Dusknoir, we had a KO lined up on Munkidori, I guess. Just throwing it out there. We had Munkidori. I guess we just needed Dusclops to take out Munkidori. So we would have had 3 prizes on board at any point in time, if they, and all we'd need to do is get Dragapult back in with Neo Upper Energy. which I don't know if it was prized. We didn't see it at all the entire game. We went through our deck quite a few times. I didn't prize check, obviously, but it's casual. Like it's ranked ladder, but you know, prize checking would tell us if we were really in for a doozy of a match on that one or not. But basically, they got down to one card in their deck. We didn't see a Gardevoir the entire game, which was very, very fortunate for us. So, I'll take it. I'll take it. Pretty good game. Unfortunate for our opponent, but a lot of disruption in our Dragapult list means that they do absolutely nothing to us the entire game. I'll take it. Any day of the week.